In a small town lived a man named Harold, known for his stern demeanor and sharp tongue. He was not just an ordinary man, he was a wealthy businessman who owned a local manufacturing company. Most of his wealth came from the hard work of his family, who supported him through thick and thin. His father had invested all his savings into Harold's first venture, and his mother had managed the household while Harold was out chasing dreams. But as soon as Harold found comfort in his wealth, something in him shifted. As Harold sat in his lavish office, surrounded by expensive furniture and the latest technology, he often reminisced about the sacrifices his family had made for him. However, nostalgia quickly faded into indifference. "They should have known I'd make it on my own," he would mutter under his breath, dismissing their efforts as mere stepping stones. In time, Harold became estranged from his family, particularly his sister, Linda, who had always been the compassionate heart of their family. She would often reach out to him, inviting him for dinner, sending birthday cards, and trying to bridge the widening gap between them. "Helene, your family," she would say gently over the phone. "We miss you. Can't we at least have a meal together?" But Harold had grown too comfortable with his wealth and too accustomed to his wife, Marlene, whose disdain for Harold's family only fueled his resentment. As he moved deeper into his financial empire, Harold allowed greed to dictate his actions, and he cut ties with his immediate family, believing they only wanted a piece of his fortune. Marlene fanned the flames of his disdain, often saying, "Why would you waste time on them? They're just trying to milk you dry." With her support, Harold justified his decisions, convincing himself that family was nothing more than a burden. But fate has its way of humbling even the proudest souls. Over the years, Harold's business began to decline due to changing markets and poor investments. The plush offices that once echoed with the sound of ringing phones turned eerily silent. Eventually, he found himself struggling to pay his employees, and the wealth he had so carelessly amassed started slipping through his fingers like sand. One evening, after a long day of worrying about his business, he received an unexpected call from Linda. "Harold," she said softly, "I heard about your company. I know you're going through a tough time. I just want you to know I'm here for you." Harold scoffed. "I don't need your pity, Linda," he snapped. "I've built this all myself. I don't need help from anyone." Yet deep down, a flicker of shame ignited within him as he hung up the phone. Days turned into weeks, and soon, Harold lost everything he had worked for. He stood in the empty lot where his factory used to be, staring at the bare ground, grappling with the reality that he was now a man without a fortune. It was at this low point that Linda reached out once more. "I know, you're struggling, and I want to help. I've been saving some money," she offered, hope threading through her voice. Harold hesitated. "Why would you help me after everything I've done?" he questioned, uncertainty cloaking his heart. Linda replied gently, "Because you're my brother, and family is what matters most, no matter what." It was a simple statement, yet it struck a new journey. Harold made a promise to himself. He would be a better brother, a better man. It was in that moment he realized, much like a wicker tree, that his true strength lay not in his wealth, but in the roots he chose to nurture. In the end, Harold found that cutting ties may offer freedom, but it is the bonds of family that truly set one free.